Good morning, everyone, and welcome here to CSL Cape Coral. My name is Karen Gidley. I'm a licensed practitioner here, and it is my honor to be doing the meditation, facilitating the meditation this morning. So, if you'd like to just find yourself comfortable in your chair, comfortable position, and if you'd like to, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. And release that breath. Do that a couple more times. In and out. So now, in a relaxed position, I'll go into this meditation. This meditation is built from the idea that each one of us has within him or herself a deeper nature. And of course, this deeper nature being an eternal unity with God or with the living Spirit. It is more than man. It is where we are being, the beingness of each of us, the nature of a human merges into the being of God. So as we deeply dip into our divine nature, let us realize that entering the secret presence of this tabernacle of God, we will, like the pilgrims of old, have to shed what does not belong to the kingdom of good. We have to deliberately drop that which would hurt. We cannot enter this gate of good with a sword in our hands. So we let go of everything and turn to that divine depth within. That depth within our own nature, wherein is the Spirit of God, the Spirit of love, and the Spirit of peace. With calm serenity. We withdraw into that place within us which has never been hurt, nor has never been sick, has always and forever lived in divine and eternal peace. That which is God, that which is good. That inner kingdom within us is all peace, all power, and all perfection. We drop all hate and fear, all animosity and resentment. We cast out of our consciousness every doubt and every sense of uncertainty. We know that we are entering into that atmosphere of wholeness with a capital W, of happiness and completion, where there is no fear, no doubt, no uncertainty, no lack, no want. Here is wholeness, perfection, peace, power, beauty, love, supply, and life. We know that the abundance of this life is showered upon us, that we are guided and guarded into right action, into right decision, daily, hourly, minutely. The principle of intelligence directs us. The presence of love warms us. The peace of God covers us. And we are led into the pathway of this peace, into the knowledge of this perfection. We are conscious of the indwelling God, and we are conscious that the indwelling God is filling, instantly renewing our bodies, absolutely eliminating from us whatever there is that does not belong. Coordinating every function, every organ, every action and reaction, the circulation, the assimilation, the elimination, making it perfect. The life principle of every part of our being is perfect and harmonious, and now functions perfectly in us. The whole order of discord is changed into the natural order of harmony and wholeness. And we let that divine power be exactly what it is in us. We are no longer afraid, for love casts out fear. Our faith destroys all fear, and we awake from the dream of fear to the vision of reality with a capital R. A place where there is no shadow of which to be afraid. We awake from the dream of lack and want the unhappiness to the knowledge of harmony, of abundance, and of peace. an affirmation that we can use throughout the day or this week. I allow myself to dip deeply into my divine nature. I allow myself to dip deeply into my divine nature. I allow myself to dip deeply into my divine nature. And when you are ready, bring your consciousness back into the room. Feel the floor beneath your feet, the seat that you're sitting on. Wiggle your toes and your fingers, and when you are ready, you may open your eyes. Namaste. Namaste. And you're welcome to stay here in the sanctuary or go outside into the lobby for a few moments before our session here starts, our Sunday celebration at 10:30. So welcome and thank you.
Grand Rising, everyone. Thank you. My name is Melissa Tuff, and I will be your hostess with the mostest today. And I know. And I have my beautiful shawl on that Idalia made for me for my birthday. Yeah. You missed the note. And I would just like to welcome you to our Sunday celebration where we are celebrating your spiritual magnificence. Ernest Holmes is the founder of our philosophy, and we recognize the truths found in all spiritual teachings, both traditional and contemporary. For more information about the Science of Mind philosophy, you can visit the information table after service. You can go to our website, or you can find one of us practitioners with these handy-dandy stoles on, and we will be happy to explain SOM to you. And now, everybody please give a big round of applause for our wonderful Big Love Band.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, we're going to get your blood flowing, so feel free to stand and sing along. If you've been with us the last few weeks, you've memorized these already, right?
Yeah, here we go. And if you haven't memorized it, the words are up there. Sometimes I forget where I come from. Sometimes I forget where I'm going to. Sometimes I get so confused I lose my way. Sometimes I know you feel the same. Then I remember there is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. There is nowhere that God is not. There is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. 'Cause everywhere I am, I know what I got. Sometimes I believe in what I see. Sometimes I believe in what I perceive. Sometimes I get so confused I lose my way. Sometimes I don't know what to say. Then I remember there is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. There is nowhere that God is not. There is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. 'Cause everywhere I am, I know what I got. I forgot to pray, forgot to be still and know, forgot to forgive myself until I forgave myself, forgot to ask for help, I forgot to say a word, forgot to believe in me, believe in the spirit word. Then I remember there is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. There is nowhere that God is not. There is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. 'Cause everywhere I am, I know what I got. There is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. 'Cause everywhere I am, I know what I got. Everywhere I am, I know what I got. Everywhere I am, I know what I got.
All right. That's our BLB for you, getting us all energized. And see, you're already on your feet. So I am inviting you right now to join us in our welcome message. Warm up those hands of manifestation. Put one towards yourself and one out towards the world. And repeat the words on the screen with me. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. We know who you truly are. You are the spiritual image and likeness of God. We appreciate you, we love you, and we are thankful you are here. Welcome to the center. And we would just like to take a moment to thank our beloved, charismatic and kind Karen Gidley, who is holding high watch during our service today. So she is not over there napping. She is actually holding a high state of consciousness for our service and for everyone present, both here and online, just knowing that all is unfolding according to divine plan with great grace and great ease. And you may have noticed there's an orange box out in the lobby. We have adopted a school for back to school season, and so we are doing a school supply drive. There is a clipboard next to that box out there that has a list of all their suggested supplies. We are going to be donating these to Tropical Isles Elementary School, which is right off of Orange Grove. And if you have any questions about that, you can speak with me. Those items will be collected through August 10th, and then we'll be delivering them to the school. So thank you very much for everybody who has brought stuff in so far. And today is our favorite Sunday. It's Potluck Sunday. If you did not bring anything, do not worry. We always have enough to spare and to share, so please stick around and break bread with us and enjoy some fellowship with your community. And now we are going to have another wonderful tune from our Big Love Band.
Thanks for showing up. Now we're going to sing about it.
Show up. Ooh, show up. Ooh,
I want to show up as love. Hold the door open for everyone. Fill the room below to above.
I want to show up as love.
I want to show up as peace. See no brother as the least. Listen more than I speak.
I want to show up as peace.
I am here to make the best of it, to give a lot and take a bit.
Show up. Show up.
I want to show up as truth. What you see is 100 proof, and all I say and all I do.
I want to show up as truth.
I want to show up as joy, like a child with a brand new toy. Share it, spread it, fill the void.
I want to show up as joy. Show up as love. Show up as peace. Show up as truth. Show up as joy. Show up.
Oh, we're doing Face of God song. Okay. So is that going to have the kids enjoying? Yes. Come on, kiddos. Don't be shy. All right.
You are the face of God. We hold you in our hearts. You are a part of us. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. The face of God. We hold you in our hearts. You are a part of us. You are the face of
Okay, and now that is a great segue for all of our youngins. If they were going to attend our youth program, you can go back and go to the classroom now. Thank you for coming up and being brave and singing for us. Truly showing up, right? All right, so are you new to our center, or have you been here a while and maybe you'd like to become a member? We have a membership information session following service today, so stick around, get yourself a cup of coffee, come in and learn about the perks of membership. And very importantly, if you want to vote on our new minister, you have to be a member. Just keep that in mind. Okay, and we have some upcoming beautification days on August 3rd from 8:30 to 10:30 and August 26th from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. We are going to be focusing on the minister's garden area, so it is ready to welcome our new minister. And if you guys have not taken part in a meditation practice before, this is also a great way to start and collectively raise the consciousness. So I got the first phone call today, and it was a recording from Reverend Michael Beckwith, and it was beautiful. So this is going to be 100 days of mindful practice prior to the elections. We are not trying to be political here. We just want to raise the consciousness of everyone because there is so much divisiveness right now, and this is a good way to bring everyone together. It's free. You get a phone call once a week, I believe it is, and daily. Oh, okay, good. So it started today, so you're not missing anything, but text JOIN to the number on the screen. If you have any questions about it, you can see one of us as well, and we can instruct you how to get there. But it is going to be wonderful for all of us to just raise our vibration around this political stuff going on right now. And we have a new meditation group starting. The lovely Linda Lloyd is going to be beginning a Tuesday evening meditation at 6:30. And this is going to meet in the sanctuary. It'll be for 1 hour. And it'll be meditation and discussion. And it is a $10 love offering suggested per meeting. However, as we always say, do not let money be the reason that you do not show up. Just show up. I'm not going to let you guys go with the show up thing. Like, I'm going to keep. All right, and we're going to have another song from our amazing Big Love Band.
So to end the week on, or the month on perfection, am I getting that right? Being perfect? Yes, so I think the definition of grace kind of puts a little bow on it, right?
so grateful that we have such an awesome band. Can we get another round of applause for them, please? You guys are just so amazing. You get my heart open and ready to receive all of the good that is going to come from our jovial and jubilant John Coriel, who's going to come up here and deliver a fantastic reading for us today. Welcome him to the stage.
Yes, here we go. All right. I had looked up the perfection that's scheduled for this reading today and for this month, actually, this week, this month. And I thought, let's look up perfection and see what it says here in the Science of Mind textbook. Perfection is the real state of being, complete so that nothing is wanting. Ideal fruitfulness, the divine attribute of complete excellence. That's perfection. The only way a treatment can possibly be effective is for the practitioner to see only perfection in his or her patient, regardless of appearances. I like that, regardless of appearances. Yes, that's perfection indeed. And a reading from a favorite little book of mine by Eckhart Tolle, The Stillness Speaks, it's called. It says, how often each day, if you were to realize your inner reality, that moment, would you have to say, I don't want to be where I am? What does it feel like when you don't want to be where you are? The traffic jam, the place of work maybe, airport lounge possibly, or the people that you are right there with, wherever that may be. It is true, of course, that some places are good and some places are there to walk out of, and sometimes that will be the most appropriate thing to do. In many cases, however, walking out is not an option, really. In all of those cases, and the I don't want to be here essence is not only useless, but it also is dysfunctional. It makes you and other people unhappy. It has been said that wherever you go, there you are. I think I used to have a book by that title. Wherever you go, there you are. And in other words, that you are here always. Is it so hard to accept that? Do you really need to mentally label every perception and experience? Do you really need to have a reactive, like or dislike relationship with life? Where you are in most continuous conflicts with situations and people? Or is that just a deep-seated mental habit that you get into? Oh, yes, indeedy. Not by doing anything, but by allowing this moment to be as it is. I like that. That's something that Eckhart Tolle talks about a lot, is just being as things are, accepting them just the way they are. And let's take that into meditation right here and right now, and taking this moment to stand in the light for individuals or for situations in your life that are not living up to par as you might want them to. So we just recognize that God is right there with that person, with that situation, wherever that may be. And we just recognize that as being the real truth, whole, complete, and perfect right here and right now. We bless that situation, we bless that person, and just knowing the good right here and now. And we know this day, this celebration service is in perfect divine right order and just sparkling and unfolding in a most magnificent way. It just brings joy to my heart. So we just say thank you, God. Thank you for all of the good that this day has brought forth and will continue to bring forth. And not only this day, but this whole week. We just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as we know that to be so, together we can say, and so it is. Yes, yes, yes. And it is my pleasure to bring forth an individual long ways away from Colorado. He has flown in, and we appreciate having him here. Reverend Chris Leheb. Yeah.
Good morning. It's really good to see your faces. Last time that I spoke here, I was on Zoom, and you don't get to see anything. So I didn't get to see any of this wonderfulness that's all around us. Really great to be back. I am appreciating some new faces. That's really cool, and some very familiar and loving faces that makes me feel at home here. So thank you, everybody. So this is our last week of, Oh, okay. Did I break something? I was only back for like 1 day. And yeah, perfectly imperfect. Yeah, that's where we're at. We're just finishing up our month on that. And yes, the songs, perfect. The meditation, perfect. The reading, perfect. Perfectly imperfect to fit in, into our theme today. So I was going to start off with a slightly off-color joke. It's not really off-color. Well, you'll get what I'm going with. It's something that I don't endorse the subject, but anyway, the joke goes back to my days when I heard this, back when I used to be a cigarette smoker. And, inevitably, like outside of a restaurant or a wedding or a bar, and somebody comes up and be like, hey, man, you got an extra one of those? And then the joke is like, yes, because when I bought them, I only wanted 19, and they only come in packs of 20. I do have an extra. If you've ever been a smoker, you get it, because you don't have extras. You just have a continual thing here. But I liked that analogy because I'm thinking about, like when we get to the end of our time here on this planet, if we're part of the group of people that are able to be with it right up until the last minute, when you're on, getting ready to take your last breaths, you're in your deathbed, and somebody says, hey, do you got any extra time? At that time of our life, no, I'm guessing pretty much all our time is going to be spoken for at that point. However, when we're healthy, when we're living life, when we're out there doing things, people ask, do you have any extra time? Yeah, I got extra time. But I want to talk a little bit about the times where we're wishing that time away. We have a finite amount of time in this physical world. We are eternal, infinite beings. But this is a gift of this, when we're looking at eternity, this little tiny blip of this physical existence is, it's just a flash in the pan. And I know, for myself, I have spent time in my life where I was wishing that time away. Think about the Monday morning dread. We get up and I don't want to do this. I hate this. And, spend 5 days of the week doing something that we really don't like to get 2 days on the weekend where we're just trying to recover and restore. And so how much, there's that chunk of life, like the weekends that, we say we live for, but then if there's another chunk of life, when you think about it, 40 hours or more of every week spent doing something that you really don't like and wishing it wasn't there, we're squandering this gift of having this physical world. And so if we can take those moments where we are, wishing we were somewhere else, wishing we were doing anything else other than this, if we can take those moments and transform them, then all of a sudden our life experience expands greatly. We get to that end of the lifetime, we won't have that regret looking back of how much life did I wish away? So when we recognize that, I talk about, we are spiritual, infinite beings having this physical human experience. This is sacred time. We are sacred beings. And sometimes we forget, like, our spiritual magnificence. It's easy to get caught up in, am I just a drone going through to earn a paycheck to keep the corporate wheels turning and, just sludging through life to get to some imaginary thing where everything's going to be okay all of a sudden? Or are we opening up? Like, if we can learn how to tweak a little bit of how we interact with life, how we bring ourselves to it, then all of a sudden, like, every moment becomes sacred. Everything we do has meaning, has purpose, and alchemizes those times, those moments where we would normally be wishing our life away. About 6 years ago or so, I had a job that it was tough. I've talked a little bit about the different jobs I've held. I've held positions that a lot of people might not find glamorous and might not find enjoyable. Well, I was in one of those. There was parts of it that were pretty cool. I was working, in a restaurant. It was a really good restaurant, a kind of semi-famous chef and all of this stuff. But it was miserable. That chef was pretty awful, pretty toxic to work with. And, I've seen, like, the Gordon Ramsays and things like that. I don't know if that's what this person was aiming for, but it's kind of what it felt like. I was, as a grown man, called lots of names that are just demeaning and just like, there's no reason for that. We don't need that. So I had to make a decision. I'm here in this place where I knew that it was going to be 2 years. My wife was on a 2-year fellowship that I'm only going to be here 2 years. And before that in life, it's like, this is too short. Life is too short to put up with this kind of abuse. Find something else. But then I stopped for a minute, and I'm like, I put a lot of effort, spiritual mind treatment into discovering and creating, like, this opportunity to be in this restaurant. Now I'm here, and it's not everything I thought it was going to be. But maybe there's something here for me in this. And I got to thinking, this is around the time when I was starting to get asked to do talks occasionally, and I'm like, I want to start putting myself out there as that, spiritual teacher, spiritual seeker, and sharer. And what could this be for me here? And what I realized is I was fairly thin-skinned up to that point. If somebody criticized me or somebody said something mean to me, it would, affect me. I would get angry sometimes or sad sometimes and, run through my head and just, like, ruin my, like, whole week or month or however long. And I realized, maybe this is an opportunity for me to thicken up my skin a little bit. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. And that's what I decided. I'm like, what? Instead of, like, leaving and pulling myself out of here, let's see what we can alchemize this situation into. And there were times that, like, that steel resolve came in handy. There was times that I know that if I hadn't made that decision to alchemize it like that at some point or another, I would have just walked out, said, I'm out, leave them in a lurch, and leave my coworkers there and just be like, nope, it's not worth it, I'm out. But since I had that resolve, I went through it. Now, there was definitely times where, like, I was questioning that, like, no, this isn't worth it. And there's times now where I know that, I could still probably use some thicker skin in some areas, but then there's also times where I'm like, that really helped me. Those 2 years that I was there, that was part of the stepping stone into a bigger, expansive experience. It showed me more of, like, one of my goals, and I believe I heard Wayne Dyer talking about it, who learned it from, what's his name, Maslow's Hierarchies of Needs was one of his teachers. Thank you, Abraham Maslow. And it was, choose to be independent of the good or bad opinions of others. And that's what I kind of like gained and tried to develop at that position is like, I don't care what other people say. If I'm doing my best, if I'm doing what's in my heart, if I'm causing no harm to anybody else, I don't want to let anybody else shake me. I want to be so busy in my own work that it doesn't matter what others think and others say about me. Because when we are, open to people's opinions and we can let it throw us off for a week or however long, they're controlling us. They have the power over us, and I don't want to give that power to anybody. I respect the opinions of others. I respect, what people will share as feedback, and I'll take it in as consideration, but I'm not going to let it throw me off. And it's the same thing, too, with the good opinions of others. If we are easily moved, and we all love hearing, like, hey, you did a great job on that, you're a wonderful job. But if we start letting that go to our mind, that's another possibility of essentially could be manipulated. I'm not saying that's what people are doing, but anytime that you are able to be molded and guided by the words that somebody else says to you, we're giving away some of our power. That was kind of a tangent there, but it's important to me. It's one of my things, and I've got a long ways to go to continue to develop it, but it all starts with that intention and that thought. So anyway, yeah, I toughed it out, that job, and I finished my time there, and I was happy to move on. Now, one thing that came up for me this week, it's been a great month. Remember Adalia Romero was our guest speaker the first month, and then we had Reverend Shell last week, which was also wonderful. In that first week, Adalia talked about growing up in a household with an alcoholic father, and then the mother had this way of everything has to look perfect on the outside. That way it covers up the dysfunction that's going on the inside. We can't let people know. What would the neighbors think? And that was part of her talk that just really stuck with me, and it resonated because I think of like the times in my life, when things weren't going well, and it's almost like you have to overcompensate for the dysfunction that's there. Excuse me. But some of the ways that it really stood out to me is to remind ourselves, when we look out in the world and we see the perfection of others, everybody, we get that envy, like, man, their life is perfect. I would love that. We really don't know. We don't typically put forward that dysfunction for the world to see. We have this way of masking it. We have this way of kind of creating an image that we expect people to believe, but that may not necessarily be true. And so I know I want to bring this reminder to everybody because with social media and stuff. I have a 13-year-old daughter. She just turned 13 this last week, and she's just so desperately wants Snapchat, Facebook. But when, the research, this is all fairly new things, and as research continues, there's tons of studies on it that especially teenage girls is at the most at risk from internet, social media, kind of, I don't know what the word is, but it's dangerous because it really creates this sense of not good enough, comparison, people that, cyberbully. And while the 13-year-old girls is the most vulnerable at that, all human beings are, all adults. We get in this thing, and we process, we make unfair assumptions, and we get hung up in what we're doing, and we forget, that everybody's got their stuff. And so, one, I don't want to feel inadequate because of what somebody else looks like they have going on. I never know what else is going on in that person. And it's also a reminder that we don't know what's going on in everybody's life. And so compassion, reminding ourselves, like when people are out there in the world being people-y in the way that rubs us the wrong way, can I just be a little more patient because I don't know what's going on in that person's life. We never do. And so when we want to expand our life experience, I encourage you to consider this, where my own personal goal is to always try to see the best in others. Always try to be patient and compassionate. Compassionate, that would be a good word. and just because, again, this blip of life is so short. And, like talking about like the 100 days of, like trying to keep our vibration up during this election cycle, it's really easy to look at others that have different beliefs and ideas of how to make the world a better place. It's really easy to get caught up and just get in that friction. That's time that I don't want to wish away the time, but that's not how I want to spend my time. It really is just so short that we are all, every single person in here, we are the face of God. And so when I am angry at somebody, when I'm holding animosity and, just like, disdain, which disdain is a very powerful, strong, negative emotion. When I'm holding that, like, it diminishes the experience of that sacredness. And it's so short, and I don't want to have that as my extra time. I want to bring myself back in, and ultimately, it's a selfish endeavor. It's for my own well-being to always want to see that brighter side of people, take the risks, and just try to be more into that consciousness that really is shaping the world that we live in. One other experience that I wanted to share, somebody shared a story with me, and again, it's kind of like choosing your time, choosing how you want to spend it. And this person was talking about there's a friend of the family that shows up. They see, this person maybe once a year, maybe a couple times a year. And every time this person shows up, they always have just something mean and nasty to say. Every time. They always find something to nitpick at this person and like insulting things that like are hurtful. And this person knew that other person was going to be visiting, and they're like, I'm going to clean this house so perfectly. I'm going to make it so that person has not a single thing to criticize. And then we pointed out that you might make the house perfect and make it so there's nothing to criticize there. That person is going to criticize your hair. That person is going to criticize this. And they showed up, and they did. It's so, like, why do we spend time and energy to impress somebody that we don't even like? Like that, again, it's like taking that time and using it for something that, when I get to that end of that life, I want that extra time. I want that time back, but there's no way to get it back because once we're in the moment, that's what we're doing, and there's no other choice. And so the time never comes back. But we have the gift of foresight when we start to become aware of how short the time is and start to really say, like, every single moment is a gift for me. I'm going to transform that time into it so that from here going forward, I value all that time. And then it's not wasted. And of course, it's easier said than done. And, I've really been trying to do it since even long before that one particular job that I talked about. Waiting tables was one of my greatest blessings and teachers and gifts. And it started many years before that of, when we're in that place, we're like, this is not how I want to spend my time. Sometimes we don't have the option of just walking out in the middle of a shift. Sometimes, that's not a possibility. Sometimes, we got bills to pay. We got things. But just to shift it like, okay, so what can I bring to this that is then going to be my stepping stone into an expanded version? What can I bring to this to make it worthwhile? So like every insult that chef hurled at me, that was actually a gift when I'm able to make that tweak. Thank you, sir, may I have another? Please. Because every single one it's transformed. It takes the power away from that person, whether they know it or not. They don't need to know it. That's not important. What's matter is it's those things that we resist are always gifts for us if we can learn how to lean into that and transform it and make it into something worth living. So, I thought I would share one other story, but I think I'm getting kind of low on time, so I'm not going to push it. Oh, you want to hear it? Okay. All right. So one of the things that I wanted to go with this talk is to live life to its fullest. Every moment, life is short. So let's live it all to the fullest. But then I want to point out, because live life to the fullest, to some people, I follow a lot of entrepreneurial circles, spiritual growth circles, and one thing that you hear so often is hustle, hustle, hustle. Get the most out of life. Get up at 4 a.m. and do your morning routine and get out there and go, go, go. Don't come home and go to bed till 11. You're always doing. Get the most out of it. That's not me. That is definitely not. So I had really good friends, and they saved up. This was back waiting tables 20 years ago. And they saved up for a long time, wanted to take a trip to Europe. And, they were dating, fairly new couple, or, like half a year or a year or so, wanted to go, but their personalities. The one person's like, I've saved up all this money for so long, and I want to go to Europe. I'm going to see every single thing I can. We're going to get up at 5 in the morning, and we're going to get out there. And, I've got a tour. We're going to this site, this site, this site, this site. And, whew, we're going to be tired tomorrow, I'll tell you that. And then we're going to, all this stuff. And the other guy's like, man, I've been saving up for this trip for so long. I've been working. I want to rest. I want to see some of that stuff because I might not, this person knows that, they might not ever get back to Europe. And so they do want to take advantage, but at that same time, not at the expense of their own, rest and rejuvenation. Because, he's picturing being, here I am at the Louvre and I can barely keep my eyes open. There's no joy in that for him. Whereas, his partner was like, this is great, I'm going to go, go, go. And so they had to find this happy medium. But that's what I mean by get the most out of life. If it's a nap that you really savor and want to do, savor it. Lean into it. Let go of what other people say and think. Your time here, again, is a joy, is a blessing. Get the most out of life in your way, because we're all individuals. You bet. Permission to nap. Yes. Just, life is so much richer when we do what speaks to us and speaks into our heart. And so, in the end, that's my takeaways. Let's get the most out of life, expand it, pull back on some of the judgment and the perceptions, that I'm telling myself, I hate this, it's Monday morning, I got to go to work. Shift that. It's Monday morning, I'm alive, and I get to go do that. The first time that I moved away from, home was to Cleveland, and I just to change I'm not big on change. It takes me a little while. And I was a little nervous moving that far away from, Denver to Cleveland. But then I was like, how can I tweak it? And I'm like, this is a vacation. And I knew it was going to be, at least 4 years. And I'm like, it's a vacation. I get to see a new place. And I get to take a job while I'm here to get to know people and to get to sustain this extended vacation. It's just little tweaks of what we tell ourselves. There's always a gift in everything. And I say that cautiously because I've had a pretty blessed life, and so it's easy for me to say that. I don't know if I would be able to still say there's a gift in everything if I had experienced some of the horrendous things that others have experienced. So please take what I say with a grain of salt. I would like to think that I could. I would like to think that I can always transmorph it, but I also recognize it might take time. It might take a lot of time, and it might not ever happen. I don't know because I've never been challenged that deeply. Most of my challenges have been pretty, I feel very grateful for the life that I've had and very lucky and fortunate. But at the same time, like, what can we do? What stories can we tell differently in order to do more? Now, I didn't want to finish today without one more just look at FFTs, those flipping first times. When we start doing our spiritual growth, start expanding our life experience, wanting to do other things, it can be really hard. But that first time, it always has to start with that first time, and just it's been a big part of that theme. Perfectly imperfect. Nothing in the world is perfect, and it never will be, which means that everything is actually exactly perfect. Exactly perfect. And so let's live life. So I'm speaking in memes today. So this one, it came from Edgar Allan Doe, who I don't know much about other than she's a baker and makes baked goods. But FFTs, your first workout will be bad. Your first podcast will be bad. Your first speech will be bad. Your first video will be bad. Your first anything will be bad. But you can't make your 100th without making your first. So put your ego aside and start. And then the naysayers. An athlete won't judge you for working out. A millionaire won't judge you for starting a business. A musician won't judge you for trying to sing a song. It's always the people going nowhere that have something to say. Always. That's another like big Brene Brown thing is, get in the arena. It's in the arena, living life, daring greatly, that life is learned. Don't listen to the people that are sitting in the seats that are there to criticize. They're just not to their place yet where they're ready to step into what they're doing, and they'll get there. But they'll run around nitpicking for a little while first. So our spiritual principle this week that I wanted to focus on is the principle of oneness. Everything that exists, everything in reality, it's all part of one thing. And so the oneness from what we believe says we believe in one infinite reality that's undivided, complete, and whole within itself. So every single experience, every moment, everything that we do, it's all part of that one infinite reality, and it is all divine. So just learning, like, all moments of our life, the moments that we might wish away, it's still a gift. It's a blessing. It's a stepping stone into something greater. Can we shift our awareness and turn it into that gift to receive it? And then the spiritual practice is sacred seeing. In the global theme, one of the practices that they offered was a group practice, and it was to go out into nature with a group of people and just observe. Look at the bark on a tree, how it's perfectly imperfect. Go look at the things in nature that grow beautifully. But there's always, in the first week when I spoke, second week when I spoke on Zoom, pointed out, like, if you want to nitpick, you want to look close enough at something, you'll always be able to find a flaw. But flaw is the wrong word because it's actually more of like a characteristic. It's the little things that make, two snowflakes are exactly the same because of the anomaly in one. For human beings, it's actually our anomalies that make us unique in who we are. So let's stop thinking of that in negative ways and start embracing it as gifts to be shared. So sacred seeing, just remember everything, every experience, everybody, every object, everything we see, it's all the divine. And so when I can keep my mind on that, I'm in a much better place. When I forget that is when I start to get agitated, anxious, and all of those things. But when I just step back and remember, everything is sacred. So an affirmation that I would like to share with us today is I live every moment and life expands around me. So if you're on board with it and you'd like to join me, please do. We'll say this affirmation together. We'll say, I live every moment and life expands around me. One more time with some oomph. I live every moment and life expands around me, all around me. Now, I wanted to finish with one last quote Thich Nhat Hanh, one of my favorite people who's no longer with us, a Buddhist monk, but I came across this one this week, and I had to use it because it's just too good. Many people are alive, but don't touch the miracle of being alive. Every moment's sacred, and stop and take a breath and just recognize. If you've ever heard Thich Nhat Hanh, he's the most gentle speaking person, very slow and methodical, and he just exudes like presence and peace. That's what I would like, but it took him a very, very long time, and I'll get there my own way, in my own time, in my own place, but I just love Thich Nhat Hanh. So just to remember, like, being alive. And so let's take that into our hearts, into just a moment of reflection, recognizing. I invite you, however you'd like to get comfortable, just to open up. Draw your attention into your heart space and open up and say, spirit, nature, life, God, whatever that thing is of which we are all a part of, just recognizing it, however it brings to mind and starts to create this sensation and this feeling in the body. Spirit whispering, tickling the back of your neck, just saying, yes, there is something very magical. There is something way bigger than any one of us. And it's here right now, as us, around us, through us. And as we draw our attention to it, it opens us up into bigger expressions of what makes us unique, of our own unique anomalies. As it softens the heart, it reaches out to connect with other aspects of that same infinite presence, creating that synergistic field. What we focus on expands. Recognizing that the 100 days of meditation and thought around the election is an expression of that infinite divine, reminding us that as we keep our own consciousness raised, as we focus on our vibration, knowing that Spirit is always here with us, there's a part of us that's never been harmed and never will be, and that will always continue on, so I can let go of everything else and just let it be and experience it and revel in it, the good, the bad, the challenging, the joyous, all of it is all a gift. And as each and every individual here sits basking in that infinite love and light, that love with a capital L that shows up as golden white light all around us, in our hearts, in our presence, in our bodies, in our cells, may that just carry each one of us to recognize I can transform and take any moment and make it into a piece of the divine, a sacred space in time to be celebrated and cherished. So I just affirm and avow as we each go about our own separate ways, we do that in our own unique ways, and that we attract to us the perfect right people, places, situations to help us step into our bigger lives, knowing that we'll take risks, we'll put ourselves out there, we'll listen to our hearts, let the naysayers' voice be silenced, and the voice of the heart speak loudly. So in gratitude for each and every person on this planet who is doing their own seeking in whatever form, even those that don't think they're seeking are still creating their experience, moving in that direction of where we all return. I say thank you for it all. I say thank you for the law that takes our words, our thoughts, and makes it so, makes it manifest in this world for us to share together. And I just allow that feeling of thanks to sit there for a second. Appreciation, knowing that it's all around me. It's the divine. We never leave it. We're always a part of it. The kingdom of heaven is here within and all around us. So in gratitude, I just let these words go, knowing that we all are surrounded by love. And I affirm that by saying, and so it is. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you. That one story might have been too much because then it led into another story and then another story. But thank you. All right, so it's that time. It's the last Sunday of the month. So next month we got a whole new Volunteer of the Month, a new person that gets to use the Volunteer of the Month parking spot, and hopefully everybody, everybody gets a chance to say, thank you for your service. We have so many wonderful volunteers, and it's always really hard to choose. And one that consistently comes up time and time again is our man, Jeremy Sweeney. Both he and Mark do a wonderful job on AV. Jeremy comes in on Thursdays and does AV. He fixes computers in the office. I don't know how many thousands of dollars he has saved us. And just always does it all with a smile, with a joy. And Jeremy, thank you for being a part of our center and giving so much of what you do. We really appreciate you. Thank you, Cassie, for bringing Jeremy to us. Okay. All right, so this, we do the Volunteer of the Month at the same time because, for spiritual community, it takes time, treasure, and talents to create the opportunities, to create the events, to create the things that we want to do that brings community together. And so this is when we ask, what can you give to keep this going, to build on what's already been here so that this is here for everybody in the future that hasn't yet found their way here. So we make it very easy to give many ways. My favorite is the text to support. Dollar amount to the number on the screen. It's 239-320-3820, and it'll get you all set up. It walks you through it. You can also do PayPal at cslcapecoral.org, donate button on the website, mail a check to us here in person, or maybe my other favorite way is our wonderful ushers. So Phyllis and Roberta will bring these around today. Thank you both for being here, giving of your time and talents. And we also, you can put your prayer requests in there if you have any. Prayer works. We're pretty big on that because we know that miraculous things happen when we believe and we create. So part of that creation around what we like to receive and expand, we have an affirmation. So if you'll join me by reading the words on the screen, we say, today, I know the activity of divine abundance is at work in my life and the life of this center. I give and receive generously as I live in the flow of bountiful good. So it is.
Standing as one in the presence of the power, standing where others have stood. Gladly we offer the gifts of our abundance, knowing the source of our good. Standing as one in the presence of the power, standing where others have stood. Gladly we offer the gifts of our abundance, knowing the source of our good.
Say thank you for all that's been offered, time, treasure, and talents. We thank you all for it, knowing that what is given returns. It's that cycle of energy, of currency, and it always blesses the receiver and the giver. So knowing all is multiplied, pressed down, and used for good in this world, and gratitude is the name of the game, and so it is. So it is. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, so next session is going to be August 6th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. If you'd like to register for that, you can go on our calendar at cslcapecoral.org, and this is offered on a love donation basis. And we have a new group starting, Grievers Circle. This is going to meet on the first and third Wednesday of every month beginning in August. It will be from 10:15 to 11:45 a.m. I believe they're going to be meeting in the back classroom. And this is going to be a circle for anyone who is experiencing a sense of loss from perhaps a loved one, a pet, a situation or a relationship, or perhaps you have a health challenge that has been weighing heavy on you. And this will be a wonderful group and an opportunity for you to come together in a safe space and release some of that energy and bring in more love and compassion from your fellow people. And make our day. Let us pray. So all of the practitioners will be in front of the stage after service. We would love to pray with you. So don't leave today with something heavy on your heart, or if there's something you would like to just manifest more of in your life, come and get your 1-minute miracle after service. And if you have any questions about anything, remember, stick around because we will be having our membership information session. And if you have any questions about anything else besides membership, there's information on the back table there, or you can grab one of the people here with the stoles, and we will be happy to fill you in. Thank you all. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again.
Here we go. I wanna show up as true. What you see is 100 proof in all I say and all I do. I wanna show up as truth. I wanna show up as joy, like a child with a brand new toy. Share it, spread it, the void. I wanna show up